Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. I think this is episode number 9 of the Dream Big series, season 2. It's currently the 20th of August, Sunday. We are 2 weeks out from show day, so we're closing in pretty quickly, which is exciting. As you can tell by the title, today is just going to be a physique update, but I thought I'd just do an update in general while I've got an hour of steps on the treadmill, just to run through a few things of what we're currently doing in prep, and just giving an insight of what it is like at 2 weeks out from show day. So I've just done my 45 minutes cardio, which is the standard rest day cardio session. At the moment for cardio, it is 6 days a week. So because I train fasted, on my training days, I will do my cardio after training, which at the moment is 30 minutes. So that is 4 days a week. And then my 2 rest days, I come in obviously fasted again and do my 2 sessions of 45 minutes. So that is cardio at the moment. Steps have just been increased last week to 12,500. The majority of prep, we were doing 10,000, so not a lot of steps, but our output is cardio and steps. So that's kind of how we're managing output at the moment, just by increasing both and seeing where that takes us. Because we're just about to go into week 10 of prep, which is a bit mad to say, considering my last prep I did last year was 23 weeks. 2 weeks out, we just finished week 9 of prep, which is mad. So slightly different this year in terms of our approach, but you know, our starting point for the growing phase last year was obviously going off the back of stage into a rebound, and then we were able to stay pretty tight, you know, still being able to carry a midsection, and because of what our rough plans were for this year in terms of competing, and obviously we wanted to prolong our growing phase for as long as possible to put on the tissue we needed, which was a whole 8 months growing phase before prep started this year. And like I said, we're about to go into week 10 of prep, so a fairly short growing phase, but I think if you're going to be competing every year, that is a pretty standard length of time for a growing phase. If you are competing every year, you know, 8 to 10 months probably is what you're looking at, depending on what shows you do. Obviously growing phase will cut short or be prolonged, so that's what we kind of worked off. So this prep has been pretty aggressive in terms of weight loss and what we needed to do to get down to the condition that we needed to compete in. I think my starting weight at the end of the growing phase was 126 kilo. I can't remember what that is in pounds. I think it's like 270 odd. I'm currently sitting today at 110 kilo on the dot. So you can kind of work out the rate of loss over the last 9 weeks. You know, going into like the mental side of things during prep, because I think it's something that not a lot of people touch on. They kind of go through and don't really speak about. There was a period in prep this year which was, I'm not gonna lie, slightly mentally tough. You know, I'm quite a strong person when it comes to mentality, and I kind of just power through things, and that's obviously what I'm doing now. But there was a point in this prep where mentally, and it was only to do with one variable. It wasn't to do with it wasn't really to do with anything towards prep or what you consider prep aspects of prep to be, but it was more, it was all down to the training. Now my love for training is beyond bodybuilding. You know, I started training when I was 17 and just fell in love with training in the gym and the routine of training and getting after it on a daily basis, and that's kind of what grew my love towards bodybuilding. I didn't really know much about bodybuilding when I started training for the first like year. I just enjoyed going to the gym and logging my numbers and getting stronger and seeing the physique change, and that's where my kind of love grew. So training has always been a massive part for me. You know, it's outside, you could call it outside of bodybuilding, but obviously it is a major part of bodybuilding. But that's what grew my love for bodybuilding in the first place. And you know, when you're in prep, and with the rate of loss that we had, you know, the weeks where it was mentally the toughest was when I was dropping 2 to 3 kilo a week. And we had to kind of do that because of the time that we had in prep, obviously very short. We had to kind of drop weight pretty quickly, and obviously adding cardio in pretty fast, steps went up, and obviously food dropped as well. So kind of all at the same time, it kind of just, we had to throw it at me and let the body do the work. And you know, like I said, dropping 2 to 3 kilo a week happened. Obviously that is going to make an impact to your training performance. Well, that's what I found with myself and training performance. And you know, that's why I'm pretty glad that I do log my numbers. I do write stuff down on a daily basis in terms of training, because I can see what is actually going on. I can see if reps are dropping off. I can see if load is feeling different, if execution's different, because I film not all of my top sets, but you know, I post on socials every single day in terms of training, just for a routine aspect, and that's just what I've done for the last few years. So I can see how training is going in terms of footage, logbooks, numbers, strength, everything. I have a good amount of variables that I can look at physically and see, and it was just noticing that not numbers were dropping off, but I was finding it harder to stay on top of my working sets. And this was when I was probably 7 or 8 weeks out. It was like weeks 8, 7, and 6 weeks out was where I had that little mental block, where that period of time in prep, I thought, okay, I should be still hitting my numbers. I should be still pretty strong. Food is still high. There's no real reason why I shouldn't be either still kind of progressing or comfortably holding my numbers. And things were kind of slipping in terms of that, which was very disheartening for me, because like I said, training is such a love that I have, passion, obsession, you could call it. And to see that drop off and not go my way is very hard to deal with, and does, and I'm not gonna lie, it does affect my day. It does affect the rest of my day, you know, when you focus so much on something like bodybuilding, and it, you know, I revolve my life around it. It does have an effect on the mental side. I'm out of that now. I'm completely out of that. I had a talk to myself. I worked on it. I'm not gonna lie, it did take a week or two to get kind of back down to a normal, good mental state in terms of training. Once I kind of fixed things, I, you know, came to the realization where I was in prep and where food was, where output was, and you know, kind of thought, took some pressure off myself, because I do put a lot of pressure on myself to perform at the highest level every single session in the gym, which you could call one of the disadvantages to having a logbook and logging numbers and logging your sets. But for me, it's just a structure thing. It's how I run my training. I wouldn't know I don't know at the moment how to do that any other way, just because I've done it for so long. It's just been a massive part of my training. And I'm still, I'm 2 weeks out now, still logging my numbers. You might think, a lot of people might think that's stupid. Like, what are you doing? You're not in a position to kind of be ticking numbers off, but that's just how I work. That's just how I train. If we're talking about keeping stress levels at the lowest point, me keeping my logbook in keeps my stress levels low. If I was to take it out now, it would be such a massive change to my daily routine that it would just stress me out. Cortisol will go all the way up, and we want stress to be as low as possible in prep, in bodybuilding in general, just to have the body do what you want it to do. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm in a good place now. The last few weeks, I've kind of taken that pressure off myself to be hitting numbers, even though I still am. Majority, probably 80% of my numbers are getting hit. Accessory work, all accessory work pretty much is getting hit. But I have, this past week especially, taken a bit of pressure off myself and just, Luke told me, just to pull back a bit really and just focus on the pump a bit more and don't focus so much on load. I come from a strength background. I did a year or two of power bodybuilding, like the Michael Hearn split, when I didn't have a coach and I was kind of doing my own thing, where you focus a lot on strength, and it's, your main compounds, squat, bench, deadlift, and then you do accessory work after that, and hitting numbers is a major part of that, because obviously we're looking at strength as a variable, as our main variable. That's kind of when I wasn't fully into bodybuilding and hypertrophy work. I kind of did my strength work prior to my hypertrophy work, so we're kind of killing two birds with one stone kind of thing. But that's, kind of carried over into my bodybuilding. I think it always will. Just the love for lifting heavy stuff off the floor, squatting heavy stuff, as heavy as possible. And obviously being in prep 2 to 3 weeks out, you kind of don't really want to be doing that. Your body fat's probably at its lowest point. Fatigue's at its highest point. Joints and everything are very much more vulnerable. So we don't really want to be playing in that ball, in that court, as much as we normally do in the growing phase. So, but we're clear, we're good. I feel good. I feel very positive, confident in where we're at the moment. I'm coming in very nicely as the body now kind of comes to life. So yeah, 2 weeks out. What are we doing at the moment? So this past week and the next week going on now is probably going to be I'd say the hardest weeks, but I enjoy every second of it. So it's not really, I don't think it's a hard thing. I love prep and bodybuilding in general, so it's not really I don't really look at it as a hardship. It's something I choose to do and just enjoy doing. So, but typically these 2 weeks are the hardest weeks, because output's gone up, food's gone down again, and they're probably at their max levels now as we ride into kind of peak weeks. So we've got a week now where there's potential for changes to be made again, but conditions in a really good place for our first show. We are planning on doing a couple this year. Between September and the end of October, we are going to be doing a few shows. So this first one is kind of like our warm-up one. See where my body is. Again, practicing a peak week, which we did last year, but obviously we're dealing with a different body this year. It will be working slightly differently than last year, 100%, because I'm holding more muscle mass in different areas. The body weight's different, everything's different. So again, trialing peak week, carving up, show day. It's kind of like our warm-up show, if you want to call it that. Obviously, we're going to win, but and I'm confident as well. But it is another learning curve. So I'm looking forward to kind of peak week and see what Luke has planned for us for that. seeing what the end result will be as well will be nice, because you know, at the moment obviously quads, my legs are always kind of a bit blurry at this point in prep, just because of the fatigue, the cardio, the steps, leg training obviously, they're always a bit blurry, and you know, it's only when we go into peak week and cardio gets reduced, steps get reduced, training intensity gets reduced, that the quads and legs kind of come to life, the lines get deeper, the insertions get deeper, so I'm looking forward to kind of seeing the end product of that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give an update of where we are in prep, and you know, being 2 weeks out. So, but this main point of the video is just to give a little physique update now. Like I said, I'm just doing my steps. 1 hour on the treadmill every morning after cardio. So I'll get this done. And then I always do my 3 rounds of posing and go through the routine as well. So one of the rounds of posing will be, I'll get it on camera and give you a round to just have a look at. So, but yeah, I don't really have anything else to touch on really, to be honest. That's kind of where we're at. You know, I'm looking forward to documenting the rest of this prep and the shows after the first show. I'll try and document as much as I can. I'm going to do another peak week video like I did last year, where I will film each day in peak week and kind of give you an update of what we're doing in terms of food, output, training, everything. And then I'll release that video as like a peak week protocol, which will probably go out the Monday after show day. The show day's on Sunday, so I'll probably post that on Monday, and then show day will probably come out like 2 days after or something like that, once I get it edited and stuff. Because I will hopefully film a bit more on show day. Obviously it's quite a intense day. I'm probably going to get majority of my filming done in the morning when I wake up early and get all my stuff done and give you like a thought process for the day, and hopefully get you some stage footage as well. So that's the kind of plan with that. But yeah, I'll leave you there. Show you this physique update for 2 weeks out, and then we'll catch up next week. Cheers guys.